Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Mike and Chris here. You guys are behind the DJ software platform Lexicon, which has really taken the industry by storm. It's made it much easier to do a lot of the typical tasks and just streamlined everything, which I think is really great. I mean, you need to have a really top-notch organization, but also access to tons of features to perform well and just build, amazing, just create amazing music. And that's what you guys have been bringing out over here. So I'm excited to have you here and to get into your story.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. So just kind of going back to like the origin story with you guys as people that have built this company, like how did you guys meet each other and, even just kind of the evolution of the relationship, like what led to you guys wanting to build this company together?
I think Chris, you start with the origin and then I can jump in with how I came along.
The origin is it's like a hobby project that grew out of control really, because I started as a DJ, just managing my tracks and stuff. But I was doing it all by hand, like changing titles. It's just such boring work, and I was doing computer science at the same time, the study. So I was learning programming and stuff, and I was like combining those two. Like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So, and I had some time extra, so I just started building something, and and I was really interested in just like trying to finish it and building a product. Because I made some earlier products, just hobby projects. But I thought I want to finish this, so I just made a product out of it. Added a way for people to pay with Stripe and stuff, and just put it out there, just see what happens. And to my surprise, after 2 weeks that I launched it, like I had paying customers. So I was like shocked about that. And then after 6 months or something, I quit my job and started to focus fully on this.
Yeah,
Mike, do you want to take over?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's a testament to what Chris just said. It's like how quickly Lexicon kicked off. I hadn't heard about it, and I'm a DJ myself. Chris is a DJ as well, and I was just researching ways to improve my workflow, my music management, and I came across a YouTube video of someone who recommended Lexicon. I was like, let me download it, let me give it a go. And I was just like, whoa, this is so sick. This is such cool software. I was really kind of blown away by it. And I'm in the kind of marketing space. I have been for a while, and I was looking for a new opportunity. So I kind of just reached out to Chris on email. I was like, hey, I'm a DJ. I really dig the company that you've built, and I'd love to be a part of it and help kind of push it into the next phase and scale it. So we had a couple calls and it worked out, and it's going great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what was like the feature set of Lexicon version 1? Like what did it look like, Chris?
Yeah, version 1 was called Record Cloud. It was a web application. It was just a website really, and you could upload your Recordbox XML file or your Tractor NML file. It was super basic. It was, well, if I look at it now, it was ugly. It was buggy. But it worked, for the simple things. And then after that, it grew out into Lexicon because it really needed to be its own program. So you can interact with the DJ programs and the databases and stuff. So version 1 was really basic, a website, and it grew from there.
Mm-hmm. And you built it yourself, version 1, or like did you have technical skills?
Yeah. So I studied computer science. I really love programming. For me, programming is just for fun. It's just a hobby. Mm-hmm. So whenever I program something, it's just I lose track of time. And I do all the programming, all the tech stuff. I do everything tech related. That's for me. And Mike does all the marketing, social media, and design things now. Yeah, so we're a pretty good team that way.
Very nice. Mike, when you started to get involved in the company, like what was the first priority for you? Was it really just marketing? Like, hey, we've got a great product. We've got to figure out how to market this. And how did you figure out how to market it? What really worked well for you?
Yeah, I mean, the product was great. And I mean, that was like one of Chris's things is why it worked out between us, is the fact that he was like, cool, it's been, I don't know, it's about 3 or 4 years of building Lexicon. And you're like, sick, he's happy with where it's at. So the timing just worked out really great. So I think like my first thing was trying to capitalize on the evidently strong word of mouth that really had been building this groundswell for the product, and there's just so many DJs positively recommending it to others. So trying to capitalize on that, figure out where the channels are, where DJs are talking about us, and being present in those conversations. And I think like a big thing is trying to dig into the community as well. And I think we like really try and well, not try, but we're very active with our community, and they're very involved in what features are coming next and how we build and scale the product into the future. So like our regular users have a lot of say on what changes we're making, what feature sets come next, and I think that was kind of integral into the growth as well.
Mhm. So why do you think, Chris, that library management was overlooked for a long time and it was too complicated?
Yeah, I don't know why it was overlooked, but it's just most DJ apps don't really pay much attention to it. And like Recordbox is one of the more advanced library managers, I guess. And then you have Serato on the other side of the spectrum, where it's super basic on purpose, I guess. It's their philosophy, so you can focus on the mixing. But people have a lot of music on them. Like I've seen users that have 1 million tracks. Like they're music hoarders, but they take everything with them, and you need to make sense of that. So yeah, they need tools to go through all that and clean it up. And that's really what Lexicon does.
Yeah. Can you kind of just explain like what that looks like, the cleanup process generally without Lexicon?
Without Lexicon,
Yeah. Like how complicated is it?
it's just it's a lot of manual work. It's like you have on your computer the file browser. You have your loose files. It's basically the same as that. You get a file, rename it by hand, go to the next file, rename it by hand. Move stuff around. There's nothing that really helps you do things quickly.
So when you were in the DJ community, so you had maybe access to different people and forums, like kind of community forums online. Like where was most of the traction coming from right when you put it out there? Was it these online kind of forums around DJing?
Yeah, I guess I got most of it at the start from places like Reddit, sharing stuff and people being excited, and then word of mouth. People talked about it, and because I had no idea what I was doing when it came to marketing or social media or ads. I mean, I put up ads. Like I had no idea. I was like, I guess this might work, but I had no experience with ads. So I think the best thing was just Reddit and making like blog posts on Facebook and stuff.
Interesting. So Mike, you changed up the marketing a lot since then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to figure out what our best channels are, looking at the data and kind of like working off that. It's there's still just so much organic traffic that comes through, which is amazing. So it's not all just paid ads as well. There's figuring out how we can work with influencers, content creators within these communities already, ideally, and like people who've heard of Lexicon and worked with it before. So we're finding like more and more of those guys as well, which is really great.
So when you think about like just building out features and like how that kind of went, like what was version 1, Chris, and like how did that evolve over time to where it is now? What were the features that you added in, and how did you determine which ones to add in after?
Yeah, so version 1 had some of the features that are still in there, like the smart fixes that would scan your titles and give you suggestions on what to easily fix. Things like charts, so you can see like what is the top 100 on Beatport right now. That was already in there. Track matcher, so you can basically put a Spotify playlist in your library and match all the tracks, see what you have. Stuff like that was already in there. That's still in there. I think those are important, very useful tools. Yeah, and it evolved with. I guess sometimes I'm very impulsive when someone asks on the community like, "Hey, can you add this?" And then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, "Okay, it's really not that much effort, so I'll just put it in." And sometimes people have these really small questions, and it has a really big implication. So I just put it on a list, like maybe for later. And then when there's like a new big beta version, I'll grab some stuff from the list and see if I can put that in the beta. And nowadays with Mike, it's a bit more structured. So we start to actually think about like what should be in the beta and what the next step should be.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely evolved over time. Were there any DJs that like jumped on and started using Lexicon that like really took this to the next level? Like any big names that like really attached you guys, maybe you weren't even aware of, that got a lot more interest? And what was that like?
We got A-TRAK on the website now. He's been using Lexicon for a while.
Mhm.
And there's some others. I'm not sure if I should be calling out names, but there's some
Yeah.
other big DJs. But
Did that really accelerate growth a lot, like having A-TRAK, or did it not matter?
it kind of came. He's only been on there for like 2 months, which happened at the same time for when we relaunched with the better pricing, with the lifetime pricing. So it's kind of hard to tell if that made a difference. But it's kind of the big last push.
Mhm. So you said lifetime pricing you launched.
Yeah. So we launched lifetime pricing. It was just a subscription, and there's pushback against subscriptions.
Yeah.
So but subscriptions are really nice for companies because you can very easily tell what your growth is going to be, and it's very predictable and stable, and that's really nice. But there's so much pushback against it, and other companies are introducing subscriptions. So I feel like, a lifetime option, it makes sense, and it keeps people in the Lexicon community for a longer time rather than just feeling like they're a paying member and they can drop out at any moment. For me, it makes sense.
I think an interesting segue then on the updated pricing and this kind of like big 1.9 release that we've recently had. We found a kind of truth that a lot of DJs were coming on, subscribing, and then just using our conversion utility because, at its core, a lot of people use Lexicon just to move between Rekordbox, Serato, and keep all their playlists, cue points, beat grids intact that they've built over years. So that's quite a big function. And then you've got all the organizational features that come along with that. But a lot of people were subscribing and then dipping out once they did their conversion. So on top of lifetime, which is just, to subscribers and to users, a much happier option that you own a piece of software for life rather than subscribing. We also just decided to make conversion free. So that kind of, shook up the market a little bit, which was really exciting from our side and had a lot of really positive feedback, which was really cool. And our hope is, that just we get DJs into Lexicon and they really enjoy it. They maybe do a transfer and they see how cool the UI is, what else there's on offer, and then hopefully they stick around and they upgrade their plans or they buy a lifetime and become part of the community.
Yeah.
So Mike, just from the marketing side of things, like what is the plan to get these other DJs in? I mean, you have limited budget, let's say, compared to some of these other DJ software platforms. How do you plan to scale? Is this like really a viral organic social media approach? Like, what are you thinking?
We got lots of levers that we need to pull, and to try and be efficient with our budgets and our time. Definitely something that we want to get more into is kind of, wouldn't call it influencers, but more just DJs who are genuinely interested in using Lexicon, and then getting them on board, giving them a bit of a trial, and then just leaving it in their hands. If they really like it, shout us out, like talk about us, because building onto the positive word of mouth and how we've seen that being so effective. If we can lean into that with just try it out, if you love it, talk about it, shout us out on your platforms. I think that's definitely something we want to lean in more. And then also we have a serious push towards conferences. We're going to be at ADE, Amsterdam Dance Events, in October. Next year we'll be looking at Ibiza Music Summit and additional ones around the world. So it's kind of like building blocks now of just finding our feet and then starting to climb that ladder.
Yeah, conferences I think are going to do really well for you guys. It's just a great exposure opportunity.
Yeah. And like podcasts like this, this is great. This is the first one we've done together, so it's exciting and lots of cool stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see Lexicon as being integrated into existing DJ software? I mean, you provide a really robust piece of software for a specific feature. Maybe that can complement some of the other existing programs that are out there. Like, is that part of the vision you've thought about, or do you see you guys yourself kind of staying standalone?
Yeah, so most DJ apps, they prefer to keep their users, within their own little garden, and Lexicon kind of can take you out of it and take you to a different DJ app. So it's not something we're talking about to anyone. But it would be cool if Lexicon has a really official integration into DJ programs, where you could, for example, something I would like to be able to do is basically you could browse your tracks inside Lexicon and then load a track in your record box or in your Serato in deck A or deck B. So you can just basically use Serato for just mixing and then have Lexicon side by side for your management. Stuff like that would be cool. But it needs cooperation from the big DJ apps, so who knows?
Yeah. No, people are generally protective over their platforms, but I could see it integrating really nicely. I mean, there's a really great feature you've created over here that can work well. So it's just up to them, I guess.
Yeah, it's up to them, but we need to start talking to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Another one is also just deeper integration with kind of record pools like Beatport and those softwares, because that just works so well with library management and then bringing your music in, organizing it in there. So those are avenues we're also interested in looking at.
Yeah, there's something in Lexicon already for that, or there used to be. I actually took it out because I only had one record pool connected. But the problem with getting record pools on board is, you have to find them all, talk to them all, get their tech side. They have to connect to whatever they're running. They're running totally different things, so it's quite complex.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool.
Do you see yourself working directly with these labels much more?
With the record pools, sure, but the labels, not really. No, that's a different beast, I guess.
How do you kind of, just like a little bit of a separate question, like how do you see the world of just DJ technology evolving in general? Like, I mean, it's evolved a lot since, I would say, like the early 2000s. It's changed quite a bit. Like, what do you think the space is going to look like in the next, 5 to 10 years in general? But you can go first, Chris.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And on the one hand, the DJ world moves very slowly. We have Pioneer with the CDJs, industry standard. They only push out features when competitors push out a new feature and they have to keep up, I think. So they want to keep it slow. So on that end, I think it will stay exactly how it is now. But on the other side, you've got AI coming up. We've got streaming coming up. And I think those two things will somehow be more involved in DJing as well. People are very anti-AI, but it can be a productive tool. But
What do you
it
think?
shouldn't replace DJs, but it can help you be productive. So it's just finding the right balance there, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I echo Chris's kind of thoughts there. Is the big push that you're seeing, and that is going to probably be one of the next moves or big adaptions, but it's going to take a long time, is streaming. Because it just poses so many complications. I mean, you've already got those possibilities with like the latest CDJs and stuff, but then you need a reliable Wi-Fi connection in the club or internet connection. Your subscriptions to these services, and you're relying on the club having the latest equipment, which is, most DJs know, is just never the case. Like, you are always playing up on the most banged up, beat up equipment possible. So the adaptation curve is going to take a long time. If you're not like a world-class touring DJ, they're playing on the latest tech. But for everyone else who's kind of like grinding their teeth in the local cities, you're still playing on older CDJs that don't have those.
It's always gonna take us a long time, I think, because you get such a wide variety of new tech and old tech, but everybody needs to adapt to the old tech, and that's why it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
If there's big DJs running the latest CDA 3000X, but then someone else comes along and still has something that's not compatible, it needs to work for them as well. It's just a very slow upgrade path, I think, and it's because it's so expensive. People can't just upgrade. It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah. What's your vision for Lexicon? Like, do you see yourself maybe moving into more of that space, or is it you kind of see yourself staying in this lane specifically? Like, what is the grand vision for the company, Chris?
Yeah, I would probably say it's more of our lane. This is kind of our little island of what we do right now, and I think we do it best. And I don't think there's really any real competition that does exactly what we're doing. and we just want to get better at it and then make Lexicon prettier and faster. And yeah, for now, that's the vision. I mean, yeah. Mike?
No, I mean, echo that. I mean, we've had Chris and I have actually been back and forth with some hardware discussions recently, but don't have anything confirmed there, and that would be a long time away. But that still stays within our realm that Chris just mentioned. So, we're good at what we do. It's a great software that a lot of people love, and we want to just keep building on that and making sure, I don't know, that we don't try and do too many things as well. It's kind of that age-old thing of, if you spread yourself too thin, I'd rather do one thing really well and then be the company that people go to for that. And I think that's kind of what our stand is at the moment.
Makes sense. Well, that was all the questions I had, guys. I appreciate you taking the time and doing this. I think it's fascinating that you've carved out this niche here and you've solved a real problem. Clearly, a lot of people have, and the organic traction, is a testament to that for sure. But I think that there's a lot more you guys can go. So it's exciting to see, how far you can take this, and some of the plans you have marketing wise, I think are going to really materialize into more users. And I look forward to seeing Lexicon, getting even bigger than where it is today. So thanks, guys, for coming on and doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having us.